Good evening, New England. You're watching Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. Brought to you by the new Mohegan Sun, a legendary gaming, entertainment, dining, and shopping experience located just minutes off I-395 in Uncasville, Connecticut. Mohegan Sun, come play. And by the Boston Herald.
Hey there, everybody. It's Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. Gary Tanguay, Greg Dickerson kicking off a very long evening. We are going to be fixtures in front of the Guinness Bar, where we're on right now, again at 10. And right after the game, right after the Red Sox game 1 in Oakland, right here for post-game coverage.
And we will be taking you live out to Oakland in just a couple of minutes. Steve Buckley is there, as is Jerry Trupiano from the Red Sox Radio Network. Also scheduled to join us, Tom Werner and Red Sox General Manager Theo Epstein. We are in Oakland because guess what? Yeah, finally it's time to play some baseball. Gary, does it not seem to be like, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 months since the Red Sox last played a game? Seems like about a year since they last played a meaningful game, but 3.5 hours from now, they will be playing both.
Well, we've been recovering from that big celebration from last week, you know, and those scrimmages down at Tampa didn't really hold our attention. Okay, game 1 tonight, but who's going to be playing? The 25-man roster, he's out. Troc Nixon, what's the deal with his injury? Will they need another outfielder on the roster? Dave McCarty, and he hit left-handed pitching. What about Todd Jones? Yes? No, Todd? What do you think? Maybe you should get out your laptop, buddy, and get ready to write. Buck is in Oakland. We're going to talk about the 25-man roster for the Red Sox.
Only in the city of Boston do we worry about who the 24th and 25th guys are.
I know.
How about the top 10 guys on the team? How about who are the guys that are going to make the big plays? You know, during the regular season, it was Todd Walker. It was David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez. Seemingly every game there was a different player. So from September to October, why should there be any change whatsoever for the Sox?
In the past, Pedro Martinez, his middle name has been pitch count, but not tonight. Let him pitch. He has to think about one thing, a complete game. No question Pedro will have a whatever-it-takes attitude, because when it comes to pitching, I mean, let's face it, the Oakland A's have the advantage. They are favored over Boston for that reason. But Nomar says, hey, guys, what's all this favorite talk?
There's no favorites in the playoffs. Anything can happen. I don't think anybody, we don't see that. I mean, that's, once you guys probably talk about, say, so-and-so's favorite of this, we don't believe anybody's favorite. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Is what you play for, and, you know, we're going to go out there and give it our best just like the other team's going to do.
The thing about being favorites and all this stuff, baseball's baseball. I'm going to tell you that right now. Baseball's a great game. There's no favorites in this game. You're going to see 2 Warriors take the mound tomorrow. It's going to be Hudson and Martinez, and you're going to see which team's going to capitalize on that pitcher's mistakes.
All right, let's go out west. Steve Buckley standing by live, sponsored by our friends from Dick's Sporting Goods. And, Buck, I don't think there will be a pitch count tonight for Pedro, right?
No, I don't think there will, because I'm one of the people who doesn't think that Pedro is going to come back on 3 days rest to pitch game 4, because I'm a big believer in you can't win game 4 while you're trying to win game 1. So with that in mind, you leave Pedro in there, pitch him as long as it takes to win the game, give him the full complement of 4 days rest, come back with him if necessary in game 5, but don't fool around with game 4.
Buck, that's your theory. What do you think the Red Sox theory is? We're still hearing rumors that possibly Pedro could go on 3 days rest.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. And those rumors persist, and Grady has not slammed the door on that possibility. I'm giving you just one guy's opinion on what they should do. I'd be surprised and, frankly, a little disappointed, because Pedro's never pitched on 3 days rest for the Red Sox. We all know his foibles when he's trying to pitch, get the pitch count up there, what his results are the next time out after that. So, again, my own personal take is get him in there, pitch him as long as it takes tonight, use the bullpen as little as possible, and win this game. But don't try to win game 4 tonight. Try to win game 1 tonight. And you're right, no pitch count for Pedro tonight.
Buck, you're one of the privileged ones. You're one of the special members of the media who Pedro will speak with. I mean, you wrote about it in the Herald today. Just tell us your observation of Pedro and where, oh, great one, where he is right now. I mean, where is he mentally?
Mentally. He's mentally he's fine. He's not. A lot of people are convinced he's all balled up and he's tense and he's obsessed and all that. I think he's locked into the postseason. I think he recognizes that he could put up truly great postseason numbers, and that this could be a great, historic, never-to-be-forgotten postseason for the Red Sox, given all the bad history of which we are well aware. Pedro's well aware of that history, and he would love to be the one that's at the forefront of that history. As far as he's not talking to the media, it's very simple. He hasn't talked to the media for a couple of months. He's put up tremendous numbers the last couple of months, in keeping with an old-timer's philosophy that you don't fool around with something that's not broken. He's continued that. But he's talking to me. He talked with Peter Gammons. He talked with other people one-on-one just to say hi and so forth. And he's amiable. He's friendly. He's cordial. He just doesn't want to do the post-game, pre-game process right now.
Hey, Buck, how about on the other side? Last time we all saw Tim Hudson, he shut down the Red Sox, but he didn't have a good month of September. Do you take any stock into that fact?
Well, of course, I think you want a team and a player going into the postseason with lots of momentum. But you know what? That was a tremendous game he pitched against the Red Sox. And the way I look at it, if he's capable of doing it once, he's capable of doing it twice. I look for a low-scoring game tonight between these two guys. And as Kevin Millar said, if he pitched like that every time, ought to be 35-0.
All right, Hudson, 2-3 in September, but 93 at home during the year.
All right, ready to go. Trot Nixon, still a question mark right there. He is on the 25-man roster. Will he get the start in right field tonight? We'll take a look at who will be playing at Network Associates Coliseum and this weekend at Fenway Park. Red Sox carrying 10 pitchers, including Gary's guy, Bronson Arroyo. We'll talk about him in a couple of minutes. And the positional players, 15 of them. Yes, Trot Nixon is there. Gabe Kapler, surprised to maybe some. Adrian Brown, David McCarty also on the roster. Let's talk about Trot Nixon first and foremost. Buck, do you expect him to start the ball game tonight?
And I don't know. I mean, you could have taken two different answers based on what he said yesterday, just a few feet from where I'm standing right now. He gave indications that his timing was off, that the injury itself isn't so much an issue, but he hasn't played much lately, and going up against a very good pitcher, if you're missing just a little bit of your timing, that's a problem. So I think it will be a game-time decision, and I think that's the reason the roster has shaped up the way it has to have an extra outfielder there, this being Adrian Brown, in case Trot can't play. All
right, no Jeff Suppan, no Todd Jones on the postseason roster. So I understand Jones is going to be next to you, Buck, in the press box, writing his Birmingham articles. But let's talk about Bronson Arroyo as we go inside the box, sponsored by Mohegan Sun. His pitches go down. He's got the breaking stuff. He's got the sinking stuff. Kind of like a Derek Lowe, but certainly not in a Derek Lowe category as of yet. Here's a guy the Red Sox picked up off of waivers from the Pittsburgh system, had an outstanding AAA season. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm very optimistic about this guy's future. How surprised are you that, you know, in the last month he has really come on strong and pitched well enough to make the postseason roster?
I'm not surprised at all because, I mean, he's not unlike K-Rod with the Angels last year. Granted, K-Rod's a lot younger with no experience in the big leagues, but he did come out of nowhere, put up great numbers in the postseason. Now, this guy has big league experience. He's bounced around with different teams. He comes here, has the big game for the Paw Sox during the season, so there is some sense that he can win big games in the big leagues. I didn't expect him when he first came up to be on the postseason roster, but certainly what he's done the last 3 or 4 weeks and what other guys have not done, Todd Jones being among them, Suppan failing in his opportunity as a starter, you can go with 10 pitchers in a 5-game series, especially when Trot Nixon is ailing, so you have that extra bench help in the form of McCarty and Adrian Brown and so forth, so you can go down to 10 pitchers. Now, if they were to get by this round, it's possible they'd add that 11th pitcher, but for right now, he's a good bet to be on this team and maybe get some innings and maybe go beyond this.
Hey, Buck, is there any word out in Oakland exactly how Suppan or Todd Jones took the news of being left off of the roster for this round?
I believe they took it okay because they were actually they actually made that known to these players yesterday, even though it wasn't announced at the time. They had a series of meetings late in the afternoon, so I think they took it okay, and I'm guessing that's the case because they do recognize that there are 2 other rounds after this if the Red Sox keep winning, and just so your listeners know, you can make roster changes between the rounds. So if they were to get by the A's in the division series, they can reshuffle the deck for the ALCS and then do it again for the World Series. So these guys, if they're smart, they keep their mouths shut and hope they can get on the roster the next time around.
See, Buck is confused. This is television, Buck. We have viewers. Thanks, Buck. Here's our Manchester Airport poll. Who's the MVP of the Sox-A's series? 35.4% of you say Pedro Martinez. Here's tonight's Manchester Airport instant poll. How important is Game 1 of the playoff series. Log on and vote at fsnnewengland.com if you want to fly for business or pleasure. The convenient alternative to Logan is Manchester Airport.
We go way back. We continue to talk baseball about David Ortiz and the rest of the bunch. Jerry Trupiano on tap, plus a bunch more. Tomorrow on the Herald, coverage of every angle from Pedro's gigantic start against Tim Hudson and the A's in Game 1 of the playoffs. Buckley, Bryant, Maserati, Horgan, and Silverman have all the late-night action covered. Make sure you check it out when you wake up tomorrow in the Herald.
They are the towns where hockey in the U.S. was.
Welcome back. Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. Gary and Greg in front of the Guinness Bar again. We will have complete post-game coverage coming up after the game. And join us again at 10 o'clock on New England Sports Tonight. Right now, let's go back to Oakland, sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods. Theo Epstein, general manager of the Boston Red Sox, is with us. Theo, let's get right to tonight's game. Let's talk about Pedro. I mean, this guy has really been locked in September. I mean, I don't know if he's been this healthy in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's very, very healthy, and you can tell because he's walking around with a big smile on his face, and he wants nothing more than go out and pitch a great game in the spotlight here tonight. And a lot of the moves, Grady Little, Dave Wallace, Tony Cloninger, have made throughout the course of the year, they're all to get him ready for this, and he's ready to go.
Theo, is the organization still considering pitching Pedro Martinez on 3 days rest? And if so, why is that?
Well, it's certainly a possibility. I wouldn't call it a probability, but a possibility. If he cruises through this outing tonight, if he ends up with, you know, around 100 pitches or even less for whatever reason, and we really need him in Game 4, sure, it's a possibility. But that's not the plan, and right. Pitchers don't have the greatest track records going on 3 days rest, so we'd rather not do it.
I mean, based on what you just said, Theo, it would not determine how he's used in tonight's game. I mean, you play tonight's game, you play to win. After all is said and done, then you would look at it. Right.
Tonight's game is the most, yeah, absolutely. Tonight's game is the most important thing. All 25 guys are available, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win this game. That's the most important thing tonight.
Theo, with a 5-game series, how important is a Game 1? I know the Anaheim Angels last year, in their run to the World Series, lost every single Game 1, including the first-round series, which was a best-of-5.
Mm-hmm. Game 1 is very important. You know, historically, I think 2/3 of the teams in these short 5-game series that win Game 1 go on to win the whole series. So that's important. You know, you got to give it your best effort in Game 1. That said, if we happen not to come out on the winning end tonight, we're well equipped to take 3 out of 4. So it's not a death sentence by any means. But especially with Pedro going on the mound tonight, we want to set the tone of the series early. Come out swinging the bats, play good fundamental baseball, and let Pedro do his thing.
All right, Theo, we want the truth. We want nothing but the truth. What have you and Billy Bean bet for this series?
I guess the Red Sox GM job.
you got that.
Seen him. I guess I did, so I won that one. But I haven't seen him yet. We've exchanged voicemail, so we'll probably have some sort of wager, probably involving dinner.
Last question from me, Theo. What are the nerves like for you right now? I mean, obviously, being a Red Sox GM, it's always difficult, but this is the first playoffs for you.
Yeah, you know, you feel it. You know, you wake up and you're ready to go. I wish we played an afternoon game, but took a long walk, took my mind off things. I'm ready to go. You know, it's really not important how nervous I am. It's just that the players aren't. And as soon as they get their first AB, the first ball hits to them, they'll be fine.
All right, Theo, enjoy the game. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Theo.
All right, Theo.
Hey, we'll be in front of the Guinness Bar, unlike Theo Epstein. 10 o'clock and post-game. We'll be here for the post-game as well tomorrow, right after Game 2. As soon as the ball game's over tonight, switch over to Fox Sports Net for complete post-game coverage live in Oakland.
Right now, let's go back out west to check in with a member of the Red Sox ownership team, Tom Werner. Tom, I guess you can kind of just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride here after all the hard work.
I don't know if it's relaxing. I think that I'll be on pins and needles tonight because, you know, we've accomplished something as an organization, but we've got a lot more to accomplish. And Tim Hudson's a very tough competitor, and it'll be an exciting game. But I'm not going to be relaxed.
And none of us will be back here either. Tom, a lot of the talk back on the East Coast the last few days has been regarding the start times of these games. I know that you and John Henry and company don't have much say, but was anything said to Major League Baseball from the ownership group about the starting times?
Well, I actually had a lot to say. I wasn't happy about it. I'm actually on a committee with the commissioner, and part of the charge of the committee is to bring in a new generation of fans, most specifically kids. So this isn't something that I was happy about. I'm sure you guys know that the networks have a lot to say about what's the primetime game, and so we lost this battle. I got the game moved up from 11 to 10, but I don't think this is going to happen anymore in the playoffs. I think we made our point. I think people are aware that the fans in New England feel like this isn't good. I can just hope it's a quick game, that Pedro pitches quickly, pitches well, and I don't think this is going to happen again in the playoffs.
Yeah, again, we're talking with Tom Werner, a member of the Red Sox ownership team, as we take you live to Oakland, sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, Tom, what about this weekend? You could have a nighttime game, or you will have a nighttime game Saturday night, and then you got to go right back to work Sunday afternoon. How are the players going to handle that?
Well, you know, the players are used to playing Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. I'm hoping it finishes Saturday night, though.
Tom, Grady Little still has an extension that could be picked up by ownership. Any thought of that being picked up in between your final game on Sunday and Tampa, the first game tonight?
Well, we think Grady's done a great job this year, but we don't want to do anything that's going to distract from anything on the field. Grady and we will address that at the end of the season. In the meantime, we're going to focus on the game at hand.
Can you just tell us what it's been like to work with a great bunch of guys in the Red Sox clubhouse? I mean, I've seen a lot of Red Sox teams, okay? I've seen a lot of 25 Cavs, but this team doesn't have that problem.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great experience for me, and I think it's been a great experience for all the New England fans. There was a team unity dinner, which just the players attended on Monday, and I talked to a couple of the people who were at the dinner, and there really is a great sense of mutual respect and fun, and these players really do care about each other, and people say that. This team actually means it, and they've shown a lot of character all year. They're confident, they've certainly been resilient, and I think anybody who's watched this team has really enjoyed the pleasure of these people that really do care for each other and play for each other, and every night it does seem like a different guy steps up and is quite successful.
Yeah, and the network certainly know that Red Sox fans have enough passion that they'll stay up until 1:30 in the morning back here on the East Coast. Tom, we hope it's a quick game, too. Thanks so much, and enjoy yourself out in Oakland.
Okay, I'll see you guys Saturday.
All right, there's Tom Werner. Hey, Inside the Box brings you inside the game. Win the New England Sports Tonight All-Pro Ultimate Tailgate Package. We'll give away our first one tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Enter to win on our website at fsnnewengland.com.
The marathon's over. Now it's a sprint for the Red Sox at Theo Epstein and Grady Little and company. It's time to sprint to the American League Championship Series. Manny's ready to go. This Red Sox team is ready to go. And let's take you back live to Oakland, sponsored by Dick's Sporting Goods. And Jerry Trupiano is ready to go. Troop, you must be psyched for this one tonight. I mean, you want to talk about a pitching matchup. It does not get any better than Hudson and Pedro. In your career, this has to be one of the better matchups that you've covered.
Without a doubt. Pedro Martinez, certainly one of the best all-time. Tim Hudson, a young pitcher, was certainly established himself very early in his career with the Oakland Athletics. Baseball, playoff atmosphere here in Oakland. You always expect low-scoring games, and I think that's what we'll see tonight with Pedro and Hudson. Hopefully this time around in this rematch, hopefully this time Pedro comes out on top.
Troop, that's a real pretty canary yellow sweater you have on. I just want to mention.
You know what? I was auditioning for part of a traffic light. I was the caution light, and I had to come right here and work here tonight. But I'm glad the fashion statement agrees with you.
Scott Williamson is a guy that certainly hasn't gotten the job done since he came over from the Cincinnati Reds. Here's my personal opinion. Now that he has his personal problems aside, Troop, and his wife and his newborn baby are healthy, I think that this guy potentially could be huge and will come up huge for this team in this series.
People are talking about him being similar to the Rodriguez kid last year for the Anaheim Angels and solidifying their bullpen. The Red Sox need that guy, be it Williamson or somebody else, to get them to be on young Kim at the end, to be that guy to get a key out in the 7th or 8th inning, or maybe even early on in the 9th inning. And Scott Williamson is just one of 25 players on this playoff roster that has to come through for the Red Sox. It's certainly been a disappointment from his performance to this point.
All right, it's been an emotional year for Grady Little. How's he doing, Troop?
I just left the clubhouse doing his pregame show. He's a little more subdued than I've seen him in the past. The clubhouse in general is subdued. There's no music. There's no carrying on in there. It's very businesslike, and I think that's a good sign. But I think everybody knows that it took them a lot of work to get here and that there's a lot at stake, and they want to make sure that they have their game faces on early.
Hey, Troop, we just talked to Theo Epstein a couple of minutes ago about the importance of winning a Game 1 in a 5-game series. I look at the Red Sox, and I think the Red Sox can rally back from losing a Game 1 more so than Oakland, just based on what we've seen all year long with this team and their resiliency.
Yeah, I would hate to have to find out, though. I'd rather take Game 1, but I think you're right. This club has shown the ability to bounce back all season long. It's going to be tough tonight against Hudson, but I would take the Red Sox offense over the Oakland offense. And when you factor in you have to face Pedro Martinez from their standpoint, you know, if the Red Sox can find a way to scratch across a few runs in this thing early, it could be a fun night and a fun series.
Hey, Troop, did Grady mention if Trot was starting tonight?
Yes, he is. He's in right field. Nomar's going to bat second. Todd Walker's going to bat third. But Trot Nixon is in there. You know, they've added Adrian Brown to the postseason roster just in case Nixon's calf problem creeps up again. He'll probably sit out tomorrow afternoon's game with the left-hander Barry Zito pitching, but Trot is in there tonight, and that's good news for the Red Sox and their fans.
How surprised are you that Nomar's back at the 2 slot after he struggled there really this year?
Well, they were saying he had great batting practice here yesterday. I know that's just BP, but they said he was standing tall in the batter's box, wasn't collapsing the backside. He seemed to be very relaxed. And I think it makes sense from a strategic standpoint because they have a tough left-hander by the name of Rincon in their bullpen. Mercier, a right-hander who throws a screwball, is tough on left-handed batters. And you break up Damon and Walker and have Nomar in the middle there, you might cause Ken Maka, their manager, to make an extra move.
All right, Jerry Trupiano of the Red Sox Radio Network. Troop, I think your sweater is just fine, and it's more of a beeswax yellow, in my opinion. All right, listen, coming up on Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight, Greg and I will give you our first impressions of what's going to happen in Game 1 with Pedro Martinez. How far should the ace go?
Beautifully pitched on both sides.
So Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight, Gary and Greg. The all-important Game 1, and how should Pedro Martinez be used? There has been some talk that the Red Sox should monitor Pedro and save him for possibly Game 4 here during this American League Divisional Series. That's a bunch of poppycock. We just had Theo Epstein on the program, and he said, you know what? Yeah, maybe we'll use Pedro down the road on short rest, but we have to win tonight. That's what they have to do. Win tonight's Game 1. If he has to go the distance, let him go the distance. And tell the pitching coach, Dave Wallace, you know that little clicker there that counts the pitches? Toss it out of the dugout.
I think Dave Wallace left that clicker back here in Boston. You know, we said this a couple of weeks ago. If this team is going to be successful in the playoffs, guys like Derek Lowe and, more importantly, Pedro Martinez have to go 9 innings, especially when they take on the Tim Hudsons of the world. Hey, Pedro Martinez struggled when he had 4 days rest after throwing 120, 125 pitches back in the month of August. What would he be like if he pitched on 3 days rest? You go for Game 1, and then you worry about everything after that. Coming up at 10 o'clock, Red Sox pregame report. We'll do a little football. Providence Journal's Tom Curran will be here. We'll find out exactly how bad Tom Brady's arm is. I talked to Brady today. I'll tell you what he had to say tonight at 10.
All right, we are your post-game station in Red Sox Nation, baby. Tonight, after the game, we'll have exclusive coverage from Oakland. Stay up late with us. We've got Steve Buckley out there. We're going to be talking to players. We'll have reaction from the game. If anything big happens in the game, we'll break it down for you. That's after tonight's late night action. Rico Petrocelli, our in-studio analyst.
And same tomorrow after 7 o'clock. Again, Nomar Garciaparra batting second, and Trot Nixon will start in right field. We'll see you at 10, and we'll see you after the game.